Hello YouTube, Ronan Kazi, the Division 2 Legendary. So, running Roosevelt Island. Finished this in about 26 seconds. I have been on a streak of really good groups. We had like a 3,000 and two 500. There's Caesar whining for some reason. Maybe he doesn't like that I'm running so many legendaries. Do you like the legendaries, boy? Do you want to see more legendaries? How about you get squirted? And I've been lucky. I've been running in these groups and they've been really good. I'm in my standard Vial Mask Jammer skill. And then my other skill, I rotate between turret. Sometimes it'll be the blinder. Sometimes it'll be shock trap. Sometimes it'll be a decoy. Always with the jammer. Always to put out an EMP pulse to put down all the toys, all the dogs, all the Johnny Fives, and all the drones. And to do some dots, damage over time to the enemy. Always putting pressure on them. Have a fast build in this. So if this is the first time you're seeing me, I'm trying to put as fast and as much status effect damage as I can put out. I'm in a group with some really high level weapon DPS folks. And so this is a group where I'm 100% support. I don't have to be, oh wow, someone went down. YouTube, this is normally when I ask you to like, subscribe, share, hit notifications, maybe leave a comment. Trying to get to 500 so I can monetize this. Start doing laptop reviews once a month or every 45 days. Then raffle those off to you guys and you can do whatever you want with them. So, legendary. I used a sniper turret. Tried to put out the snipers up there. But we're mowing through this pretty fast. Now, this next section, what's going to happen is this. If this is the first time you're doing Roosevelt, you're going to clear out this half of this map area. Then you're going to a gate's going to open. I'm going to run up and pulse that guy because I can get him because the pulse is 360 like a sphere. So that gate's going to open. Now I go to regular turret. And what's going to eventually happen is a helicopter is going to land. And when this helicopter lands on our side, on the other side, a Chunga, a heavily armored, heavy machine gun guy is going to be spawned. Then 2 more helos will come on this side of the map, dropping 2 more Chungas. This is like a DPS check. If you don't have enough DPS, they will push you all the way back. I've had to go back to the first map. And you're fighting 2 or 3 Chungas. So that kind of gives you some of this. Legendary content. Why do you do legendaries in Division? You're going to get better loot, but you're getting an automatic exotic on completion. As you are using your expertise in the Division, you are going to need more and more exotics to level up your armor. For example, most of my armor has been leveled up on expertise between 16 and 18 on all these pieces. My weapon might be a 20. My pulse is 20. And just a public service note, I could have died, but it's better to res that guy and wipe than not get him up. And you're going to see the Chungas go down like super fast. Like, where is that Chunga? They're evaporating. Because it's so hot outside. So normally this is the hardest content. You're getting exotic. And if you have 18 pieces, you end up, that is like per piece. You know, you might be burning like, I don't know, 20, 30 exotics to get to level 18. Might be even more. And you have 6 pieces. So that's 30 times 6, 180. On the weapons, it gets up to like 20. Once you go over 20 a piece. You have 2 weapons. Your skills, you're going to do that. You always want to put your expertise on your skills first because that goes on all your characters. the other thing that you're doing when you're in this grind, you have 4 characters on your account, and they are doing all of these things. So you just come into the game, you give the resource one, you get 1 free exotic every week. If you have 4 characters, that's 4 every week. Then you run the legendary with each of your characters, that gives you 8. Then there's a myriad of other things you can do to get more, but that you're doing that with your characters, and you're constantly doing this. When you're doing expertise on weapons, you're getting a blueprint for one, and you're making 20 of them, and you're burning all 20 of them, and that's how you're going to raise your expertise on weapons. Now that that's all out of the way, you are going to, in a legendary, play a little more conservative because you're investing X amount of time. In this group, we only invest about 26 minutes. That's Roxy. She's invested a whole hour in barking at me. You're about to get squirted too. So, these are some of the things you're thinking about when you're doing a legendary. You're getting better gear. The other thing is you are learning to play the game at a very high level where you can do anything. Now, there's 3 rotating legendaries: Capital, Roosevelt Island, District Union. There's 2 legendaries that aren't in the rotation, and you can guess why. Tidal Basin and Manning National Zoo. Those are both bears. So if these legendaries, I'm going to call them the legacy legendaries, are easy for you, it's time for you to do Manning National Zoo and Tidal Basin. That you don't have to, you don't get anything extra, but then that's proving your mettle. And finally, then you might do raids, but to do raids, you have to be in a group, in a clan, I'd say, mostly, because you need that consistent people. There's mechanics in raids that aren't in these regular missions. For example, in the first raid I did in Division, you had to shoot the guy in the back, and then he was vulnerable for a couple seconds, and then you had to rinse and repeat, and you had to do this 4 or 5 times, maybe 8 times or something, and it was a pain in the butt. And if you didn't know the mechanics, you just died a bunch, and meanwhile there's guys coming the whole time. It's really tough if you don't know the mechanic and you don't have a build for that. And some of those raids are more about surviving than how much damage you can do. So it doesn't, there's a balance in every build for the highest end between survivability and offense. For sure, if you don't have enough offense, it doesn't matter. You're never going to complete anything. So there's very few games that reward you for turtling in the modern era, right? You always have to put out some damage. I have a couple builds. The first time I was in Tidal Basin where I didn't know, I have a really defensive build that could do AoE damage. So it was, I don't know if you've ever made improvised gear. When you look at improvised gear, it doesn't seem like it's worth anything. But the benefit of improvised gear is that you can put another whatchamacallit on it, So, for example, if you have a build and you're going against yellows, you can put, 12% damage reduction to yellows. So you can eventually get 80% reduction. You just don't die then to yellows. You die to reds and purples, but you don't die to yellows. So there's all these, YouTube, normally when I go down, that's like we're going to wipe. So I want to thank you for subscribing, sharing, unsubscribing, resubscribing. And if I said this before, I'm sorry. That's why I usually don't go down like that. Like a cheap suit. Okay, so now we're going to the next section. We're going through here pretty fast. I don't look at anyone's builds. These are the build, the meta of AR with a shield. And these guys are doing a ton of damage. I look at it at the end. In an underpowered group, I'm normally always the damage leader because I'm damaging everyone. In this group, I wasn't even close to damage leader. Right? I'm just support in this group. I'm getting a nice carry. Thanks, everybody. So you're doing legendaries because you like the Division and you want to test things. I talked to another person the other day, and we both remarked about how sometimes people have the skill or the levels, you know, the watch level, they have the gear suite, their expertise suite, but they won't do legendary because they're nervous about it. And they have way better builds. They're more survivable than, you know, 80% of the population that's in the division. Why is a division a good game, or division and division 2 good games to pick up? Because you don't have a monthly fee. There's kind of relatively ongoing content, and the story's great. You go through the story, it's a pretty good thing. When you go through the first thing, it's pretty exciting. It's there's kind of a payoff to it. This is the last section before the end. The end in the legendary, if you die, you'll respawn. I've died here more than I care to, so what happens is I'm going to throw out shock traps on the left and push people. Oh gosh, normally YouTube. Not going to do it again. I push from the right so they go into the shock traps. So after you kill out the first people, then they start rushing. They're never going to get to us. Those guys have so much damage, and we're done. I'm going to put out a decoy next. The next thing you have to do in this legendary is you got to decide if you're going to go over the fence or not. This is a group. We don't even have to discuss it. We're going to go over the fence. So I'm going to have a decoy. A decoy is better than healing. Not much, but you just don't get hit. It's one of those cases if you don't get hit. If you had 2 people with decoys, it'd be great because you'd stagger the decoys and they'd always have a decoy up. We don't have that, so there's a time when my decoy goes down where we'll get attacked. I'm using a Scorpio shotgun. A short Scorpio shotgun can put a debuff on the enemy where you're going to put more damage on them. I have, again, EMP, so I can EMP these copters, which damages and stuns them. They've already killed one of the copters, and here goes the second copter right there. So we have more damage than we need. Fantastic, everyone. Legendaries. It's the only thing I really do. I'll do the rescue mission or the manhunt. And I owe you more of that kind of stuff. I might have deleted those videos already because it's just done. I might have them. I'll try to get you those, but on to legendary. So I'm knocking a lot of legendaries off. So normally when I talk to you about shaping the battlefield, we have so much firepower we don't really need to do stuff. We still have people go down. I've had a couple flawless. I had a near flawless run, and then I had a flawless run where no one went down. We 3-manned it with a person named Rose Fox, who was absolutely fantastic. If you get to get in a group with them, they are great. So I appreciate YouTube. The core people that got on this channel, watch me watch some of these Division 2 videos. I appreciate all of you. I haven't forgot you. Just wanted to give you a little expand your horizon. I got something good coming up here in the next few days. This is going out tomorrow. Thanks, YouTube. Talk to you soon. Bye.